Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm David Bird with Reality Reimagined. I'm an award-winning photographer and Photoshop artist that specializes in fantasy composite art. And this is the much talked about, the last thing I talked about episode of essentially a personal vlog called Artist Heal Thyself. And this is something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've been trying to find different ways and different things to start it. And also it just felt odd to have a personal vlog that seems kind of conceited to just talk about myself instead of teaching things about Photoshop and photography. But I want to do this because I value hearing about the human beings that I follow in my industry on their personal blogs, whether I read them as a blog or a vlog on their channel. So I wanted to do this because I know that some of my experiences and adventures that I have, maybe there's wisdom there. I'm not saying that my life is a perfect model for other people to follow, but maybe there's wisdom there, or just simply the shared commiseration and camaraderie of being able to talk to one another and to experience things together. So starting this, I'm hoping to do one a month, maybe more if people enjoy it. And this first one is a little special because it's been delayed a little bit because of circumstances that have been happening over the past few weeks. So for this first episode of my personal vlog, I want to explain to you the major life-changing event that took place for me and my wife. We have a baby boy. He was born May 1. He was due April 26th, and he decided to wait a very long time, and we were in the hospital for 7 days. He's incredibly healthy and fine. My wife is healing wonderfully and is doing so well. She is definitely meant to be a mother. She is so ecstatic. She's so happy. This is, as in her own words, something that she's wanted since she was a little girl, and it makes me so happy to see. I'm 43. I did not necessarily want to have children, and this was a process in our marriage. We've been married for over 10 years, and we had some dark times in our marriage because of this, because I never wanted to go to this place. I never wanted to have a child. I love being around kids who are like 7, 8 years old and beyond, because you see what they're about to become and you can help shape their world and be a part of their world. But babies and toddlers have just given me anxiety. And speaking of anxiety, being completely honest, my mental health is taken a pretty big hit over the past few weeks, but certainly over the past 9 or 10 months. And between the pregnancy and battling a lot of my feelings about that, as well as COVID and the pandemic, and seeing the world struggle and seeing our industry struggle and my career struggle, it's been tough. And this is why there's been so many delays on the channel for all the content that I've wanted to produce. I use Microsoft OneNote. It is filled with tons of stuff and ideas and series that I want to bring and share to all of you. But with the pandemic, that took a blow. And then once I knew she was pregnant, we found out she was pregnant in the middle of August of 2020. I just simply could not take the risk. I could not take the risk to go out and photograph and be around people that could get her infected, could get me infected. I couldn't. And now we are fully vaccinated. Our son is vaccinated because he was inside of my wife when she got the vaccine, and they're doing well, and I'm adapting, and I'm learning. And this first episode was not, just an apology of why I'm late with all this content and why things are going to be a little late right now going forward as we find our new normal. But it's also to share the first, I guess, major lesson that I'm learning right now through all of this process. And since I'm a visual and I'm a creative, this first lesson is about the struggles of going through something we don't want to do. And this isn't a lesson like I'm teaching you something. I guess it's just my first experience, my first thoughts I want to share in this vlog. Because so many people kept telling me, oh my gosh, you're going to be a great dad, and it's different when they're your own, and you're going to love it, and you're just going to look in that child's eyes, and everything will change. And I kept telling them, I find it hard to believe that I will just completely do a 180-degree turn the moment I look into this infant. That's an incredible risk to take, and I just don't want that responsibility at all. And they were right. When I look at my son, and he smiles and he coos and he farts and he gurgles, and I just think it's wonderful. But there's a tremendous amount of anxiety right now, and it's because I am seeing my life, what it was before he came, as a here's a visual of what I see. We were in the hospital for 7 days, and so we were watching different movies, and I was, I brought books and audiobooks and all kinds of things to help my wife, and we were watching this movie called Stowaway. And it's a realistic scientific movie about space travel, and ultimately, simple plot. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's somebody on the ship that's not supposed to be there. It's a ship going to Mars, and they don't have enough oxygen for all the people to survive. So they have to go through this experience and this trial to get more oxygen from the opposite side of the ship and bring it back. And as they're getting back to the ship, and of course they have to hurry, they drop the canister of oxygen in space. And other space movies have done this, realistic to the physics of space and gravity, that it's right in front of them. The container is right there, but they can't reach it. And they don't have propellant on their space suit to be able to go out and get it and turn around and come back. And the ship is moving at incredible speeds. So they just have to slowly watch it fade away into the darkness of space. And it's right there, but they can't grab it. And that scene was the perfect picture to describe what I have been feeling a couple of days after he was born. A couple of days, after those first 2 days, it was just, we're exhausted. We've had no sleep. I don't even know what my name is, what day it is. And there's a bundle of joy in my hands that thankfully really likes me and enjoys being around me to help him get to sleep and so forth. And that visual is what came into my mind, because that's what my life, everything that I knew before he was born, that's what it felt like. Was that it was right there. And it's not just something that like a projectile in space, it just goes flying off in the distance and disappears instantaneously. You just see it slowly drifting. And you can 2 or 3 days later look out the window and it's still there in the distance, but you will never be able to recover it. You'll never be able to go back and get it. And that's a sorrow that I feel. It's a pain that I feel, because what comes right after that is realizing how much time I have had in the past 9 months that I have completely wasted. And I was, at moments struggling with mental health because I didn't want this life that we are now in. And being honest, my wife has shown me incredible grace through this entire time. And I wasted so much time. Then I think about all the time before she got pregnant that I've wasted sitting in my office going, I'm not going to work today. I'm going to do this or that or whatever. And now when we're going day by day, I function really great with having plans, right? I make a plan and a contingency plan. And with an infant, all of that gets burned up right in front of your face, and then he poops on it, and then you throw it away into the garbage can and you try something new. And that's part of the anxiety and struggle, is going minute by minute. Sitting in this office right now recording, I'm in my home, on the opposite side of my home. My wife is with our child and he's sleeping. I want to be out there. I want to be helping. And I can't do anything because she has him right now, and I can just sit there and stare at them. And so being in here, it's great to talk to you all and to make this content, but it's so much. So the advice I want to give is that I was drug into this kicking and screaming. I did not want to go into it. I did not want to do it. And I felt like I was dying. I felt like I told my wife at one point in a really bad moment, I said, I'm going to die if I go through this, but I'm still here. And I know that the days, somebody told us in the hospital that the years are short, but the days are long. And I completely believe that. And this is hard. And it's not about it's not about, the lack of sleep, or you gotta get the bottles, you gotta get the formula, you gotta do this. It's not that. I can multitask. I have great boundless energy to go. It's my adrenal system feels like it's about ready to collapse. That's the hard part. Is there's not a moment's respite where you can go, this is over with, thank God, because you just get up tomorrow and it's a new adventure. And right now I'm holding on to that 3 months. Everyone says there's a 4th trimester when a baby is born. For their first 3 months, they go through all these massive changes. If you can just hold out for those 3 months, they'll start sleeping 6-7 hours at night in one stretch. And when that happens, it's bliss, right? I'm personally looking forward to when he turns like 7 or 25 and then leaves. I'm kidding. Not really. The idea is that I know by going through these things, I have tested every limit I have. I've tested every defiant stance that I have said, this is the only way that it can be. It cannot be anything else but this. And I have tested it and found out that I was wrong. I was wrong. And that is a cornerstone for me to build upon. Whatever I question in my life, whatever I question in my career, it is a cornerstone for me to build upon. There have been so many things I've wanted to do in my career, but I hesitate and think, will people buy it? Will they invest in it? Will they believe in me? Will they? No, you've got to have more accolades, more money, drive an expensive car and show that you have expensive friends, and then they'll invest in you. No, because the thing that I want to communicate, the word that I hold on to, that I have learned through this entire endeavor thus far, he's 2 weeks old as of yesterday, is to endure. We have to endure. Even when you think you cannot endure anymore, put some air into your lungs. Look at that canister of oxygen floating away. See it. Don't forget it. Know what it is. Even when it brings you sorrow. Because it will give you the power to endure. At least it is for me. To anyone out there that watches this episode, if you have any advice on how to get a kid to stop hiccuping when he's fighting sleep, like he's so tired, but he like, you put the pacifier in his mouth and he's like, and then he sucks on it and he starts to drift off and and wakes up and then spits it out and cries. And it's like, dude, go to sleep. Like, you want to go to sleep. So if you have any advice on that, any parental advice on how to survive, hello, Cannon. Any parental advice on how to survive, tell me in the comments below. I am desperate for wisdom and information. My wife is amazing. She knows everything about babies, and she is just, honestly, no joke, I'm in awe of her. I'm in awe of women, because watching what she had to go through to give birth to our son, I got to tell you, any elected official in the United States of America that ever watches this, I'm telling you, get out of the way. Women get to decide what they do with their bodies because they can do infinitely more than we talking monkeys can do. So men, get out of the way. Any parents, you got any advice? Hit me in those comments, because boy, do I need them. Because at 3 o'clock in the morning, when he's sound asleep and I have a phone scrolling, I read your comments. I read anything to stay awake. So hit me up with your comments. Tell me your stories. Just tell me your positive ones so that I can stay stable up here, because it's been a long road of 2 weeks. Give me just a little bit more time. Give me some grace. I'm going to bring you amazing content. So many things that I want to share with you. So many projects that I had ready to go before COVID hit. I'm going to hit them as hard as I possibly can as soon as I can get to them. Now that I'm vaccinated, now that we're safe, I'm going to get back in that studio as soon as I can. I'm going to bring you all the knowledge that I have. And when I can get that cantankerous little boy in here, I'll show you all my wonderful son. Thank you for listening to this first episode. Let me know in the comments below, again, your advice, but if this is something that's even engaging and interesting to you, I would appreciate it, because I don't want to come off as a preaching know-it-all, but I do want to share my experiences that go beyond Photoshop and photography, and hope that they have a connection to our industry and to the things that we do. If you appreciate this content, let me know in the comments below so I know what to do with the limited windows of time that I have now that I have an infant. If you're new to the channel, welcome. There will be new content coming to this channel as on a regular basis as I can get in Photoshop and photography education. So if you like the content, give the video a like, consider subscribing, and hit the bell so you'll be notified of the new content when you return to the YouTubes. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for your advice. And until next time, I'll see you out there in the world of Photoshop.